Okay. Hi. Hey. Hello. I was on YouTube a couple days ago and saw this awesome John Makes Beats video. If you don't watch his stuff, he's an awesome creator. More kind of in the hip-hop realm. He made this video that we need more musicians making music on YouTube. After watching it, his sentiment really rings true that there's a lot of people like talking about music or reviewing gear or talking about processes of making music, but like not a lot of people just making tunes on YouTube. And I figured I should contribute to that in some way if I can. So this is like, take this as a little bit of a demo. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. There's this method that I've really been digging of sampling your older songs or unreleased demos to make new stuff, and I've been doing it a lot in my tunes lately. I first hopped onto it when I think Skrillex was doing it a lot in like early days, like My Name is Skrillex era. It was really cool to hear bits from older tunes that you might not be able to place, or you might be able to place them in newer tunes, and I thought that was a really cool process or a really cool way of having your music all live in this one sonic world. So I started doing it myself, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but one of my favorites, like this really noodly, stupid way, is like using Ableton Sampler and just like a full MP3 of one of your tunes, and just like picking disparate bits and then just trying to write a new chord progression around it. So I figured I'd put an hour on the clock. I just released this remix of a Chappell Roan song that I really like. I figure we'll throw that MP3 in there and just see if we can't make something completely different out of it and see where it takes us. God, I hope there was an intro edited down in all of that. Like, I hope I can make something in that work. We'll see. All right. What I usually like to do is leave it completely unwarped. It brings like some really weird tempo slidey stuff that you have to compensate for, and I think that adds to a really cool sound. On this one, I'm just gonna drop a simpler. Hopped on a slice mode. What I do like to do is just kind of pop it into the middle of the song in terms of these slices. What'll happen here is these will coincide with MIDI notes. One thing I do want to do is transpose this up. Let's do, I don't know, 3 semitones. We'll make it very chipmunky. Insert new MIDI clip. Just hit C1, and we've got a riveting sound. So I'm just going to noodle around with this for a little bit, and we'll see if we can't find something. I'm actually going to end up pulling the sensitivity down. What can help sometimes, switching this to gate mode. So then it will only play for the exact duration of your MIDI note. I think something that's super helpful, if you can find like a percussion hit, a snare, or a kick relatively isolated in this full sample that you're using, and then use that to really structure what you're doing, sprinkle everything else on top, you can really quickly get like a backbone for the loop that you're trying to develop, like very quickly, and then kind of fit everything else into a slot around it. Because a lot of this is trial and error. A lot of it is shooting shit at the wall until something sticks and you can develop a cool loop. Just throwing on some like reverb, compression, and like trying to give it a really sampled sound. A lot of what I'm trying to emulate a lot of the time is like a very 2006 Ed Bangery, like Sebastian way of processing things when I'm chopping stuff out of an MP3. Like what they had at the time was a lot of limitation in terms of how they could affect things, but I am trying to imitate that with essentially like every tool in the world available. And I think sometimes that's unhelpful because you end up doing too much. I'm just gonna throw on some reverb. I did some EQ and then multi-band compressor with reduce ambience on there to like pull some of those reverb tails out and give it this really like kind of wide spacey thing with no bass in it, so we can layer some other elements under it and make it make sense. I'm also just going to pop in like variations on it as well. Keep it a little interesting. I usually start just trying to figure out what a bass line could be for this, and I do everything just in the piano roll and then pick the sound later. You know, I think at a certain point, when you have like a cool little groove and a loop going, and I know I do this all the time, is it's really easy to then sit and listen to it on loop for way, way too long. You're like, all right, bass line works, I've got a cool little sampled loop going, I've got some drums in there, like it's not perfect, let's make some tweaks. But then you just sit and you listen to it on loop, and it loops and loops and loops, and then you're like paralyzed to make a move going forward, and that sucks, and I do it all the time. So I've been trying to be like, let's just keep it moving. Doesn't matter if you're making the wrong decision, as long as you're making a decision. So I'm just gonna like throw something, some kind of preset open in Serum and get this bass going, and then we're gonna keep working. Ooh. Like really Timbaland-y. That's not like my at all, but cool. What's that? Got a cool loop. I'm going to start trying to make some like little variations on it for other bits. And these can generally be a little simpler. This is always where I back myself into a corner. I'm going to be looking for like a very specific note. See if I can find it. Yeah. There it is. One thing I should do is sidechain. I don't know why I haven't. Ignore my terrible macros on that. Holy. Alright, so we're gonna put an ARP. I'm just kind of f***ing around to like figure out where to take this and what sounds cool about it. Oh! Goofy. Intro vibes. Verse vibes. Oh! And the flutes. becoming white noise at this point. That's fine. We can find a vocal to just kind of like add some interest. One thing I like to do is find something so cheesy that you never use it.
I am sitting back against the door. I can hear your laugh resonate behind that door. You don't even see me
You rhyme
when
door with
she's
door.
there. I could disappear, you wouldn't even care. When she's there, I could disappear, I could disappear, you would. I could disappear, I could disappear, I could disappear, I could disappear. When she's there, disappear, I could disappear, I could disappear. When she's there, disappear, I could disappear, I could disappear. When she's there, I could disappear.
Make it Sebastian-y as the same impact for everything. Yeah, I still use Cashmere crashes. I'm a millennial. Get off my case. They're very bright though. I'm running out of time here, so I'm like fleshing this out as much as I possibly can. Yeah, I use Endless Smile, get off my case, I'm a millennial, what do you want from me? It works. Cool. I mean, that's an hour. Oh, is this something I would put on distributors? No, but I think it's cool that we can use a song that sounds nothing like this to make something like this. And I try and do exercises like this multiple times a week. This verse part, super cool. Especially with no vocals in it. If I bounce some of this stuff out and throw it in an inspiration folder, I could start something completely new out of it. So give it a listen through and kind of go from there. There's actually some very cool bits in there. I think to bring it all back to that John Makes Beats video that I watched earlier that kind of inspired me to do this is I think there's a lot to be said for demystifying the process of creation as a whole. I think a lot of artists want to just push themselves like fully formed out there and have this like grand vision and perfect tracks, and as an audience you only get to see the final curated part of the project, and I have subscribed to that for a really long time. But as of lately, I think opening myself up to showing people more of what it looks like while you're making stuff and it's not perfect might be as inspiring as the final curated thing. I'm really open to like publishing more stuff. If there's anything that you'd like to see, I promise I will get better at this, but I think it always starts somewhere. So this is kind of a little trick that I've been using in order to start something new when I'm not feeling particularly inspired by a sample or a chord progression or a vocal line. And it always seems to work. Something comes out of it every time. And it's really fun when you can get the new project to sound nothing like the project that you're sampling. Like this sounds nothing like a Chappell Roan song, and I think that's really cool. If you liked it, do the YouTube stuff and click buttons or whatnot, and I will probably end up posting some more stuff. I think it's fun, and I'd like to see what the response is going to be. Anyway, stream this or download this Chappell Roan remix. It was a lot of fun to make and put on the internet. Sorry, it's not on Spotify or Apple Music or anything, but I would get sued into the ground if I did that, and I would like to not get sued into the ground anytime soon. Anyway, peace.